All right, my happy crumpers. The Drukhari are here, and they have this new freaking sick detachment. This is going to be a detachment that a lot of people are going to look at, and they're going to say, oh, this sucks. You're all wrong. It does not suck. I'm also not saying this is the best attachment in the game, but there is some really sick things that you can do with this attachment. I'm going to share it with you as we're reading through it. So I'm a huge fan. This is the Reaper's Wager. Let's break it down. The detachment rule is going to be callous competition. And the way it works is at the start of the battle, all Drukhari units from your army are currently winning the wager. Okay? Just bear with me here. I'll go ahead and give you the rule for what that means. When you're losing the wager, every unit that is losing the wager gets to reroll hit rolls and wound rolls of 1. All right, so at the start of the battle, Drukhari is winning the wager, which means all of the Harlequins just start the game with reroll hit rolls and wound rolls of 1. Very decent. Now, each time a Drukhari unit from your army destroys an enemy unit, Drukhari units are now winning the wager. So you start winning the wager, and if a Drukhari unit kills a unit, they're still winning. So then the Harlequins are at the reroll 1s to hit and wound. Now, if a Harlequin unit destroys an enemy unit, all Drukhari units are now rerolling hit rolls and wound rolls of 1. So you're following me here. Cool. If Drukhari units are winning, that means Harlequin units have to be losing. And if Harlequin units are winning, that means Drukhari units have to be losing, just to be clear. And whoever is losing will be rerolling hit rolls of 1 and wound rolls of 1. It sounds complicated. It's really not. Just read through it like 2 to 3 times. You'll have it. Now, for Harlequin units, you're going to be able to include up to 1,000 points of Harlequins. So it's not that same like 500 point limit that a lot of the allied detachments are. This is going to be actually split. You can have up to half of your army as Harlequins. You probably won't, but in some of the builds, you might need like the 600 points. So it's really nice they didn't restrict you to 500 points. All right, so let's start running this thing down now. Enhancements. Some of these enhancements are real good when you combine them with the strats that we're also going to read. So just stick with me here, okay? Arch Raider. Super sick. Harlequin or Drukhari model only. In the declare battle formation step, if the bearer starts the battle embarked within a dedicated transport, that dedicated transport now has Scouts 9. That's really good. A Scout 9 on, I don't know, a Raider? If only you could Scout 9 and then have Drukhari that models that could pop out and perhaps advance in charge. If only there was a strat for advance in charge. Oh, wait! There might be. So now suddenly you can get that Scout 9 Raider, get out 3 inches. So now you've moved 12 inches. Then advance and charge with, say, I don't know, 10 Incubi. And there's other units to choose this with as well. But this enhancement rocks. A 15 points for a Scout 9 model is really, really sick. And if your opponent blocks it, doesn't matter because then they had to dedicate a unit to block this where previously they would not have. And it's only 15 points. And there's a lot of matchups where you're not going to get blocked. This is a very reasonable enhancement. Webway Walker for 15 points. Harlequins or Drukhari model only. Models of the Bearer's unit have the Deep Strike ability. Each time the Bearer's unit is set up on the battlefield using Deep Strike, if that unit is currently losing the wager until the end of the turn, you can now re-roll charges made for that unit. This is an interesting way to get yourself a This is a very, very interesting way to get yourself a re-rollable, 47% chance 9-inch deep strike charge. I'm not really the biggest fan of this enhancement. I'm not sure what we would want to put it on really, but there might be some scenarios. Perhaps you would want to put it on a Court of the Archon, for example. There's a couple things that you might want to put this on. Nothing's really springing to mind that I'm like, oh, I desperately want this though. So just keep in mind that this is useful. It's just it might not be obviously useful. Then we are going to look at the Reaper's Cowl. Now this is only on Harlequin's model. Models in the Bear's unit will now have Stealth and Infiltrate. Infiltration is very, very, very reasonable. There are times where infiltration can be extremely powerful. Putting that on a Harlequin unit, perhaps led by a Troop Master, this can get you the early kill with the Harlequins you need in order to proc the reroll hit rolls and wound rolls of 1 to your Drukhari. Now, to be clear, your Drukhari still have their pain token mechanisms, so they don't necessarily need reroll hit rolls and wound rolls of 1. But it is something that you can actually do, which is pretty cool. All right. You could also, I guess, hilariously put like an infiltration on, I don't know, a freaking Solitaire. And if you put infiltration on a Solitaire, how far does that guy move turn 1? He infiltrates and then he like just advances and adds 2d6 to his movement characteristic. He just goes, I don't know, 1,000,000 inches turn 1. That's kind of hilarious. Just to guarantee a turn 1 kill on something. All right. Let's go into the and since the Drukhari units actually start by winning the wager, that means your Solitaire would start the game by rerolling hit rolls and wound rolls of 1 if he needs to go assassinate something turn 1. That's actually pretty scary, to be honest with you. Like that's pretty scary. All right, and then lastly, we've got the Conductor of Torment. This is cool for 20 points. You can only put this on a Drukhari model, though, in your command phase. If your Drukhari units are currently losing the wager, meaning your Drukhari now are rerolling hit rolls of 1 and wound, ones to hit and wound, you can for free gain a pain token. If you do, that makes your Drukhari units now winning. So now you have a pain token that you can just give to get full rerolls to hit to one of your units, but all the Drukhari units will lose the reroll ones to hit and wound. But now all your Harlequins get the so you can basically what this enhancement does is it lets you choose who is winning or who's getting the army bonus at the beginning of the battle round, and that's really, really strong, or at the beginning of your turn. And then if your Drukhari units are currently winning, you can give away a pain token in order to make the Harlequins start winning. So this just lets you shift, transition the wager however you want, and I think it's really, really beneficial. Like super, super beneficial for the army to be able to choose that. Now, Malicious Frenzy is 1 CP. You get to target 1 Harlequins or a Drukhari unit from your army that has not been selected to shoot or fight, and they get lethal or sustained. Sick. Everyone loves lethal. Everyone loves sustained. How about sustained on a 10-man unit of freaking Incubi that's led by a freaking Archon who is also giving them, reroll hits and wounds? Like that's it's pretty brutal, to be honest with you. Then we have shorten the odds for 1 CP. A Drukhari or Harlequins unit gets advance, shoot, and charge. Boom, ladies and gentlemen, this is freaking sick. It combines with the enhancement for the scout really well, but also may I just posit something for you? Advance, shoot, charge, Talos. Disgusting. Brutal. This is amazing for this unit because that is any Drukhari or Harlequins unit. It's not infantry limited or anything like that. Talos with an advanced shoot and charge is freaking nasty. Then they're going to proc their ability very early so that they're going to forevermore never need a pain token again. This is very strong. All right, Fate's full roll for 1 CP. Let us read. Fight phase just after an enemy unit has selected its targets. For 1 Drukhari or Harlequin unit, it is a 4-up fight on death, and you get to add 1 to the result if you're currently losing the wager. Great for 1 CP. Scintillating tempo for 1 CP. Your movement phase or your charge phase just after a Drukhari or Harlequins unit is selected to make normal, advance, or fallback, or is set up on the battlefield, or it declares a charge. That unit cannot be overwatched. This is sick, and that lasts until the end of the turn. So you can spend this stratagem on, a unit of Fragile Elves in the movement phase so that they can't be overwatched by some super doomsday flamer. And then in the charge phase, you could use this stratagem again to make sure that you can't be overwatched in another position. So this is really sick. And since it lasts till the end of the turn, both of those units would now be immune to Overwatch. This is a really strong stratagem. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. It solves a huge problem that these Fragile Elf armies really have to deal with. It's honestly like Flamer style Overwatches. Then we have Murderer's Circus for 1 CP. Murderer's Circus is going to be the fight phase. Just after an enemy unit has selected its targets, 1 Drukhari or Harlequins units, subtract 1 to the hit roll. On demand, -1 to the hit roll in the fight phase. Strong, useful, people love it. Then lastly, we have the Dance Macabre. This is a 2 CP stratagem, and it is a reactive move. So with your opponent's movement phase just after an enemy unit ends a normal, advance, or fallback maneuver, 1 infantry or Harlequins infantry unit that is within 9 inches, you get to make a normal move of D6. Or if you're losing the wager, it's a flat 6-inch move. So reactive moves rock. Everyone loves them. Guys, this detachment is sick. It's going to take a little practice. I will admit that. You will have to practice this a little bit. But the stratagems are very, very, very good. The fact that you can actually just start pumping out all these Harlequin units. Remember, like your Void Reavers or whatever, they will cause battle shocks in the shooting phase. Anytime an enemy unit fails a battle shock, you gain a pain token. So the units are very synergistic with each other. If you're winning the wager with the Harlequins, but you really need to be losing the wager, you can use your enhancement to fix that. If you're winning the wager with the Drukhari, but you really need to be losing the wager, you can fix that. There are so many ways to manipulate the army rule that sounds complicated that it's really not complicated. It might be complicated for 1 to 2 games, but once you get a handle on it, Guys, this is awesome. I love this detachment. I think it's real good. I think it's every bit on par with the current Sky Splinter assaults. Honestly, it might be a little bit better. It'll take some testing to really knock that down. But seriously, guys, Games Workshop, holy crap. 2 elf detachments in one day, both reasonable, balanced, and fair, and good. I personally think that GW did a really bad balanced data slate, but like these 2 detachments, well, really the Eldar is the one I was terrified of, that they would just break the game. Dude, you smashed it. I'm super happy. I'd love to hear your thoughts and comments down below. Until next time, I'm Jonathan Arkin with Happy Crump Wargaming, and I hope all of you have a very crumping day. Bye-bye.